Sonny Melendrez, Sonny Radio, SonnyRadio.com.
Hello, it's Sonny Melendrez, and welcome to the positive side of the radio spectrum. Yes, this is the Sonny Melendrez Show, the intersection of entertainment and inspiration. And in light of everything we've been going through over the last several days and even weeks, I thought you could use some words of encouragement. You're going to hear from not one, but 8 of my previous guests and their own brand of encouragement. But first, we're brought to you by Ideal Precision Roofing in San Antonio. There's no question about it, Mother Nature always has something in store for South Texas. And around this time, it's hail season, and it'll continue on for several months. Now, in the event that you might suspect you have hail damage, please, for one thing, do not go up on your roof. Leave it to the experts. Call Ideal Precision Roofing in San Antonio. An expert will come out and indeed inspect your roof, and if there is hail damage, get the wheels turning with your insurance company to get your roof repaired or replaced. And remember that Ideal is an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, a distinction afforded to only 1% of the roofing contractors in America. So call the company trusted by hundreds of San Antonio homeowners just like you. Ideal Precision Roofing. Their number is 210-485-1553. That's 210-485-1553 for Ideal Precision Roofing, or visit them on the web at idealprecisionroofing.com and tell them that Sonny Melendrez sent you. And now, on with the show.
Sonny Radio, SonnyRadio.com, San Antonio.
Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." The first words of encouragement today come from restaurateur and human being extraordinaire Louie Barrios on the 2 most vulnerable days of his life.
The 2 most vulnerable days of my life are the day my father was killed by a drunk driver when I was 15, and my oldest daughter, Lindsay, was born. Different emotion,
Sure.
Same vulnerability. When my pop died, I thought, how are we going to make a living? Mom barely speaks English, very broken English. She has a little bitty restaurant my dad bought for her, La Cazadora on West Avenue. It's still there. And it didn't make a great amount of money, and my mother worked very hard. And we had my sisters and myself. Teresa was 16. I was 15. I just turned 15, and Diana had just turned 12. So the vulnerability was massive, the realism of how are we going to make it without Pop? Now you fast forward to when Lindsay was born, and we have a baby, and I thought, how in the world am I going to raise this child? Do I have what it takes to raise this child? So different emotion, joy versus sorrow, but
Right.
Same vulnerability.
Oh, you said it so beautifully. You're right. They correlate in the fact that we have such passion for each one of those emotions and memories. Now, you mentioned your dad. Your dad was really a premier broadcaster and journalist here in San Antonio, wasn't he?
Spanish newspaper, Spanish radio, and Spanish TV.
So you were 15 years old. Your dad was the breadwinner, and all of a sudden that went away. What did your family do?
So we went from being upper middle class to lower middle class all in one day, September 1st, Labor Day of 1975. My mother had this small restaurant, and she realized it wasn't going to be enough to provide for my 2 sisters and I. So my dad didn't have a will at the time, so she had to go through probate and things of that nature and become the administrator because she was not named an executor because there was no will. So probate, taxes, all this kind of stuff. And my dad had invested in a small sausage company that, against his own intuition, his friend wanted him to be partner. So my dad did, reluctantly. After my dad died, the partner reneged on the deal and basically gave back my mother the amount that my dad had invested, never mind all the free labor she did there for several years.
Wow.
And then she invested in another restaurant. She gets cheated there. And one of the other partners that had also was cheated in that restaurant convinced my mother to open up a restaurant together with him. And my mother said, I'm going to do it, but not because I believe in your great business acumen, but because I have great need. And she opened Los Barrios with $3,000, August of 1979.
And how long before you started making a profit? You were telling me about the first $100 day.
Yes, I remember the first $100 day, the first $200 day, the first $500 day, when Paco was at the end of the day counting out the $500 after he pulled out the money that the register had in the bank. You start off with a certain amount every day,
right,
and what's ever left over is the revenues. And he was doing his own version of a salsa dance at the end after, because he knew that we could make it.
Thank you, Louie Barrios, for those encouraging words. Next, we hear from award-winning singer-songwriter Laura Marie, and an original song called Crazy.
I wrote it for my husband when he was going through a rough time and a little bit going crazy. And I thought, well, I'm usually the one that drives him a little bit crazy, so I'll do that instead.
Has this ever been on the radio?
This has been on some independent radio stations, yes.
But never live?
Never. Well, I don't know. It might have been.
But never here?
Never here. So this is the premiere here.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some kind of exclusive here.
Exclusively on AM, for sure.
There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Marie and Crazy.
Baby, come inside. Close the door. There's no one here to fight. Cross the floor over to my side. I want you so close by. Let go of what you know. Nothing's clear. I'll show you where to go. We'll disappear. I'm done making sense of what's senseless here. All your thoughts divided, leave them undecided. The night is underway, and sanity can wait. Let me drive you crazy. Crazy. I wanna wrap around you now, follow the confusion down, show you all the ways I could never say out loud. 'Cause people take your time, but talk is cheap. Don't let them fill your mind up with such things. Just leave them where they lie and lie next to me. All your thoughts divided, leave them undecided. The night is underway, and sanity can wait. Let me drive you crazy. Crazy. When the world is more than you can take all the time you need from me. Baby, we've only time to lose. Fingers running through your hair, reasons scattered everywhere, over and over and under we move. All your thoughts divided now, nothing here to figure out. The night is underway, and sanity can wait. Let me drive you crazy. Crazy. Let me drive you crazy.
Laura Marie, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
The next words of encouragement you're going to hear come from automotive giant and philanthropist Red McCombs on the subject of his parents.
My parents were fun-loving, cheerful parents of 4 children kind of in a row, and I was the eldest, and my dad was running a shop for a Ford dealer in Spur, Texas. They had 3 people working in the shop, and my dad had come off the farm. All of his family had always been in the sharecropping. They loved what they were doing. None of them had any money. I was earning more money by the time I was 12, 13 or so than my father, who made $25 a week, and the take out of that was 25 cents. So he brought home $24.75 each Saturday night. My mother promptly took another little envelope and put $2.50 out of the stack and took it to the First Baptist Church the next morning. So I lived in an atmosphere to where I've told several reporters, like, what was the most important thing to you growing up? And I said it'd be hard to say, but I would say the depth with which my father loved my mother.
Thank you, Red McCombs.
The Sonny Melendrez Show continues in a moment with more radio encouragement. Don't leave now.
We're brought to you by Ideal Precision Roofing in San Antonio. You know, there's one thing that you'll find with a call to Ideal, and that is from the very start of your conversation, of having an expert come out and check your home for any possible hail damage or any other kind of damage, or maybe you've just got a roof that has seen better days and you've been thinking about a new roof. You definitely are in good hands with Ideal Precision Roofing. But from the time you make that phone call to the time an expert comes out and literally goes up on the roof and checks it for any kind of possible damage, and then, of course, if your insurance company is involved, they will definitely take care of that. They take care of all the work so that what you may have thought of when you've maybe put off calling someone to come and do an inspection, all of a sudden you realize that the whole process is so smooth, and that's because of the way that they do business. Ideal Precision Roofing has been helping homeowners like you in South Texas for several years, and hundreds of new roofs in our city and surrounding area. So give them a call at 210-485-1553. That's 210-485-1553, or visit them on the web at idealprecisionroofing.com.
You're listening to the Sonny Melendrez Show. Sonny's email address is sonny@sonnyradio.com.
We continue with more encouraging words, this time from Olympic swimmer and gold medalist Josh Davis on the best part of winning the gold.
We get the gold medals. Of course, they put the heavy, real gold medal around your neck, and we're staring at our beautiful, shiny new gold medals, and then we sing the anthem, and the place gets quiet, and I put my hand over my heart, and, you know, when you see people on TV, you're like, what's going through their mind? Well, most of the guys are trying to remember the words to the song, but I knew, but of course, I knew the words. I knew the words,
right.
And I was singing as loud and as proud as I could. And I was just overwhelmed with humility and gratitude that I could grow up in the best country in the world.
Yes.
I really believe we're the best. It's okay to be the best. We got so much, and it's not because we're so much smarter or we work hard. I think it's because we have freedom.
We do.
I really believe the USA is so special because we have freedom. And so I was thinking of these things as I'm singing the anthem, like just so thankful for everything. And then it gets even better because we march off the podium, we parade around the pool deck, and all these 15,000 people are waving, and I'm waving back. I don't know who they are, but I'm waving back, and it's really cool. You're feeling the energy and the love, and with all these people you don't even know. But then I look up way up in the stands, and I see for the first time in many weeks, because of our strict training, I caught eyes with my mom and my dad.
Oh.
And they're laughing and crying uncontrollably.
I bet.
And I see my mom and I catch eyes. And she's crying, and I start crying. Because we both thought of all those mornings at 5:30 a.m. that she would come to my room, and she'd sit on my bed, and she'd scratch my back, and she'd say, "It's time for practice, son. I've got your smoothie downstairs waiting for you. I'll drive you to practice when you're ready." I'm so thankful she fed me and cheered me and drove me all those years. And then I looked at my dad, and my dad's my hero, and I knew I'd made him proud. When I finally got up to hug my mom and my dad, they squeezed me so tight, and they just kept yelling, "We're so proud of you. We love you so much." And I tell people that was the best moment. Yeah, winning the gold medal was great, breaking the record was great, hearing the anthem was great, but hearing my mom and dad say I'm so proud of was the best part of the whole Olympic Games.
That was Olympic swimmer Josh Davis.
Sunny Radio, sunnyradio.com.
Here's the pass, on into the Buffalo zone. Mahar goes to the corner of the pass, and oh, wow!
But watch Malarchuk. That's the story right now with the red. Oh,
look at that.
Oh, boy. Take the, man. That is the,
oh, my God.
Oh, please take the camera off, but don't even bring it over there, please.
Oh, my God.
It was March 22nd, 1989. Buffalo Sabres hockey goalie Clint Malarchuk suffers one of the most horrifying injuries in the history of the sport when his throat is slashed by an opponent's skate. At that moment, Clint Malarchuk's life would change forever. Clint and his wife Joni join me now from Colorado. Now, Clint, walk us through those horrifying moments.
I thought I was dying and gonna die, dead, gonna die. Like, it was so, my mind was like, I'm dying, I'm dead, I'm dying, I'm dead. But so that's basically a trauma that you go through. You know, I said, call my mom, get the team chaplain here. So I'm basically preparing for death.
It was kind of a freak accident.
Okay, well, the puck was in the corner, game passed out to the front of the net. I came across, as a goalie, you go down on your knees and skid across, and my defenseman was holding up the opposing player, and he actually flipped backwards, and his skate came right up and just cut my jugular.
And you didn't pass out, did you?
No, I didn't. So that's the part I was talking about earlier, where I'm dying. No, I'm not. Or yes, I am. But basically preparing for death, telling one trainer to call my mom, tell her I love her because she's watching the game on TV. A lot of people thought it was incredible that I actually got up and skated off the ice because I didn't want my mom to see me die on TV. A lot of things were in those, 30, 40 seconds that went through my head, but I was preparing to die.
But your trainer basically saved your life, didn't he?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he was a Vietnam medic. And, a lot of trainers are trained for, injuries and this and that. And they're even, now they use my video or that video on, for training medical trainers for this type of incident. But having seen all the blood and gush and everything in Vietnam, was very calm. You got to remember, he was 20,000 people in the arena, plus a TV audience. A lot of pressure on him in that situation, and he handled it brilliantly and saved my life.
That was NHL hockey player Clint Malarchuk. Next, we hear from world-class business trainer, speaker, and author Phil Bohlender on the power of listening in the workplace and in life.
So for me, listening is very underrated. It's undervalued. And quite frankly, if you go into a meeting, for example, and you look around the room and you observe it, what you'll find is that people are competing for airtime. So literally, right? They're talking and talking and talking.
Yes.
It's very few people who will sit back and listen and then make their input made after they've listened for a while. So I point out that there are different ways of listening, not the least of which is the empathetic listening. Also, you want to be able to listen for comprehension. So it's not just one way of listening, it's multiple ways of listening and making sure that you get that down first.
And don't you believe that when you listen to, let's say, someone who's come to you with a problem, it's important to hear them out and look at it and listen to that, to the problem through their ears?
You're exactly right, because what happens is people will bring you the problem and then they will watch your body language and see how engaged you are in what they're telling you. And what you want to do is not only build the trust for them to come and talk to you, but then also follow it up with the body language to say, I'm interested and I want to hear everything you have to say. And so there's ways of getting people to, I'm known for one statement and one statement alone throughout my career, which is help me understand. So when I'm listening to someone, I will say again and again, help me understand. And it creates a space for them to give me more information.
Sure. And at the same time, you're not judging them.
No.
You're not telling them that's wrong.
No.
You're literally you're soaking up everything that they want to give you.
Exactly. And what's nice about that, Sonny, is that at the end of it, you can ask a question like, and if you were to solve this, how would you solve it? And give them the empowerment and the opportunity to give some feedback around it rather than saying, okay, thank you, I'm going to take this to another meeting or whatever. No, give them an input. Give them an opportunity for the input.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Phil Bohlender. Well, our last words of encouragement come in a musical form, and I could not be prouder to share the talent of my son, Joe Melendrez, with you. Joe is one of America's most exciting Catholic performers, youth minister, and recording artist. And you're going to hear a sample of his latest album titled Chosen. In fact, it's my favorite song on the album, an original song called God's Calling. Here's how it came to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how the song evolved. I wrote the song in bits and pieces, and the wild thing is the featured artist, he goes by the name Say. And God told me today, hey, invite him, his name is Isaiah. I invite Isaiah to see if he wants to collaborate on the album. So I reach out, I'm like, hey bro, just want to check in, if you'd like to collaborate on, be on a couple of songs of mine. He's like, yeah. I'm like, when are you going to be in the studio? Because we both use the same producers. And he's like, I'm there right now. When's your next session? I'm like, today. He's like, I'll stay for your session. We get there, and I tell him the concept. We write the chorus immediately. And the crazy thing is, so the chorus is, you are not alone when God's calling. You can be strong when God's calling. So pick up the phone when God's calling. He died for your sins. Now you are chosen. So Isaiah didn't even know that the album was called Chosen, that was a theme. Nothing.
Really?
And it was like God just spoke through his talent and I was like, wow, this is how God does things. And so but even it's crazy, even recently I listened to those lyrics, and it's so important to remind yourself you're not alone. That you got to be strong, and when God's calling, you can't ignore. You got to pick up the phone.
Only God knows. Since a child, I've been mindful, but I can't discover the light with my eyes closed, blind to see what was inside. But now I know a love that goes beyond you and I. Yeah, I know. Only 15 when God reached me, I was overcome, unprepared to receive. God showed up, I dropped everything, tears poured out. I said, Lord, I believe. You are not alone when God's calling. You can be strong when God's calling. So pick up the phone when God's calling. He died for your sins, now you are chosen. You are not alone when God's calling. You can be strong when God's calling. So pick up the phone when God's calling. He died for your sins, now you are chosen. God's calling. God's calling. God's calling. Died for your sins, now you are chosen. God's calling. God's calling. God's calling. Died for your sins, now you are chosen. Called to the light, called to be light, called to be Christ, called to be kind, called to be one, called all the time. Pick up the phone, God's on the line. No matter who you are, now is the time. He chose you, no need to apply. Use what you have, then glorify. His blood covers us, now we're alive. You are not alone when God's calling. You can be strong when God's calling. So pick up the phone when God's calling. He died for your sins, now you are chosen. You are not alone when God's calling. You can be strong when God's calling. So pick up the phone when God's calling. He died for your sins, now you are chosen. God's calling. God's calling. God's calling. Died for your sins, now you are chosen. God's calling. God's calling. God's calling. Died for your sins, now you are chosen. Lord, I hear your call. I'll leave it.
That's Joe Melendrez with God's Calling. Well, there you are. Words of encouragement from Louie Barrios, Laura Marie, Red McCombs, Josh Davis, Phil Bohlender, Clint Malarchuk, and Joe Melendrez. You can listen to my entire conversations with these extraordinary individuals at sunnyradio.com/show. That's sunnyradio.com/show. Until next week, I'm Sonny Melendrez, and I promise you, we will get through this together.